And welcome back to the show. Well, entering the year 2022, consumers are now facing sustained high rates of inflation, as well as possible changes to the tax code and a struggling supply chain. Now, amidst these challenges and taking into account the last 2 years of crisis, it may be more than ever that individuals and families actually have their financial lives in order. Joining us now to share a little bit more is the founder and head attorney at the Tayne Law Group, Leslie H. Tayne. And Leslie, glad to have you.
Thank you for having me today.
You know, it's an exciting time because, for many people, the holidays are here. And yes, it is not what it used to be, but yet and still, we're better than where we were. And for a consumer, I know a lot of concerns given the fact of a struggling economy and yet and still this, an employee work shortage.
That's true. We are definitely better off than we had been, and we continue to make progress. However, during this season and while we're making progress, we need to be aware of certain behaviors in our own lives so that we can help ourselves come out of this and thrive.
And so when we talk about the holiday season, we know that a lot of people have already done the Black Friday thing. They are into shopping. They're into spending. People are traveling, doing more than ever before. But we know that in many ways, the economy is shrinking and things are not as accessible as they should be. And I think the warning that's being put out there is a time to save and a time of caution.
No doubt. So budgeting now is more crucial than ever. Being aware of your finances. It can be as simple as just understanding the money that comes into your household and that the money that you're spending on necessities and things that you want, and being able to determine what is actually a need and a want, and being super careful not to get caught up in these shortages or ideas of shortages where you start binge shopping and you end up hoarding items that you really don't need that really are not going to be in the end gone.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to get out of 2021 and really head into 2022. What are some things that we should be leaving behind in 2021? And what are some things we should be holding on to as we enter into 2022?
Well, we left a very unique time frame, so we're going to leave all that behind. But what we did learn from that time frame, again, is to be more cautious than ever, paying yourself first, having money in the bank, being aware of your spending, and being a really smart shopper. So when you're looking for items this holiday season and going forward, being aware of the cost of those items. Again, do you really need those items? Because with costs going up so much, it might be an item that was a need or a want, and then it's just switching categories now. So it's really important to help yourself and your family by understanding, what you came from, where we've been, and where you're headed, and what your goals are.
So as you're watching out right now and you're looking out there and you're seeing how people are moving and how things are unfolding, I know there's certain things that you look at and you begin to cringe and say, oh, no, don't do that. What are some of the common mistakes that people are making during this time?
So some very common mistakes during this time. One is getting caught up with that hoarding idea that you're going to have substantial shortages in certain products. So people are running out and panic buying because they think they're not going to be able to get, like we saw in the past, toilet paper, paper towels, and other household goods that are needed. The other thing that people are doing now is that they're spending money in areas that maybe they actually don't need to be spending in. So you want to be able to take a look and not get caught up in what other people are doing right now. It's important to take a good look inside your own household. Also, one of the things that people are doing more now than ever is switching jobs. So, and we've heard a lot of talk about this. So if you're in the process or you're in the thought process even of switching jobs and you're going to have a change in your finances, you need to prepare for that. So more importantly than ever, budgeting, being aware of expenses. Can you afford to leave a job? Can you afford to take a different kind of a job? Do you need to supplement your income with multiple jobs? And all of that is really important right now. There's a big shift in the thought process in the workforce. So you want to be aware what works for you and not necessarily get caught up in that thought process. Remember too that a lot of programs are ending.
Right. And I was leading you to my next question, talking about debt, because there's so many people who are trying to deal with debt. So many people will incur debt after this holiday season. And then you've got people who are really trying to understand how to navigate. What is the best approach, given the financial climate we're in, given the social setting, What is the best approach in dealing with debt in a time like this?
So more than ever, you have to be aware of your debt. So if you're not aware of debt, then you're going to continue to live in a perpetual cycle of debt. So how do you become more aware? That means paying attention to your finances more regularly. Use an app. Go old school. I like to write things out so I know when my bills are due. Understand what expenses that you have coming up that may be unexpected. We've seen gas prices go up. So if you're traveling more by car, you might have more expenses related to your vehicle. Food prices have gone up. So if you have more family members living with you, you're going to have a larger food budget. So again, awareness, budgeting, and being in a position where you can have more control over how these changes in the environment economically impact you. You want to be in control. How do you stay in control? You become aware, you manage, and you put money away, you pay yourself, and you start to build up an emergency fund so that you have a backup plan in case there's a challenge. If you don't have a backup plan, you'll end up in debt. You'll use credit cards, you'll look for fast loans, fast cash, and all of them carry very high interest rates. And with that, you'll find that there's a debt cycle and you can get easily caught in this debt cycle.
Yeah, and you spoke about credit cards. I know that just looking in the mail recently, it seems as though there's more and more barrage of credit cards, Leslie, coming our way, given the fact that they're trying to attract consumers into spending, into getting into more debt, and really trying to have a reverse way of improving the economy, from my perspective.
So you're right about that. What ends up happening is if you notice that you've been paying all of your bills and you notice that your credit score is coming up, you're going to receive more offers of credit in the mail because you've become a better credit risk. So you're being rewarded with good credit scores, but you're also being bombarded with new offers. It is the old saying, just say no. When that offer comes, you don't need it, you rip it up and throw it out. It's great that you receive credit card offers. It may make you feel good, but in the end, it's really not good for you. You want to manage how much debt you have, how many credit cards you have, because you could easily lose track of it. I have clients that have credit cards, 30, 40 different credit cards, and it's impossible to keep up paying that many credit cards. You're just going to completely lose track of it, and you'll end up having more payments going out than actual money coming in, and you'll end up in this horrible debt cycle that will be very overwhelming emotionally and financially.
Yeah. Last minute thoughts, real quickly, before we go. What else would you like people to know?
So this is a big time of year where scams pop up. So there's a lot of programs ending. The federal student loan program is ending. Some housing programs are coming to an end. Be aware that scammers prey on individuals, consumers this time of year more often. So again, if you're receiving phone calls from the federal government, they're not going to call you. The IRS, student loans, things like that. You receive mail that looks like they know all of your personal information. Remember, your personal information can easily be bought. So just because somebody has your personal information doesn't make them a legitimate organization to work with. Be super careful and go with your gut instinct. Do not provide financial information to anybody over the phone, especially even if they have the last 4 digits of your social security number. Be aware and be very careful, and have a wonderful holiday season.
Excellent advice, Leslie. Thank you so much for being with us. And certainly, I think we've got what we need in terms of knowing, and hopefully people can avoid scammers during this time, because we know they're running rampant during this holiday season. Again, excellent advice, Leslie. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. Well, if you want more information, visit her website at attorney-newyork.com, and then follow on Twitter and Instagram at Leslie H. Tayne. We do have more show coming up for you. Don't go anywhere. Open will continue coming up after the break.